WPLA North Syracuse, WSGO Oswego, W249BC Mattydale, W261AC Oswego, WTKWHD2 Bridgeport, ESPN Radio.
Fran Brown this, Fran Brown that.
If you want me to take a lie detector, Brian, I'll take it.
Portal watch this, Portal watch that.
The dog Marmaduke. People say I like that dog.
What are you talking about playing walk-on? Who do you think walked onto the team?
Anybody that thinks this is going to come back is either naive or plain stupid.
All across CNY.
Kick the tires and light the fires, Big Daddy.
It's the 315.
Hardy faking, feeds the Grace Jameson. He
scores!
Here's Brian Higgins.
Oh, here we go. Happy Monday. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Boxing Day, whatever you got. We're ready to roll here on a Monday. This actually, checking the calendar, go figure. This is the final edition of the 315 here in 2024. Yeah. This thing won't be on the air until the calendar reads 2025. We'll still be with you for a minute. We got full pre and post coverage of the Holiday Bowl coming up on Friday. I'll be with you for pre and post for basketball v. Bucknell on Saturday. So, we're not done with this year yet, but this is the last time we'll be with you at this time of day until a week from Thursday. So we got to pack it all in here today. Festivus, how could I forget a Festivus for the rest of us here on this Monday? I imagine that we got some of it on Saturday post-game. I imagine we'll have a bit of an airing of grievances about the state of the college basketball team in our fine town at some point throughout the show today. Phone lines open throughout at 315-437-7644. But welcome into the Q's in Utica in Rome. Q Sports Talk. It is Subscriber Monday on QSportsTalk.com. Get subscribed now. You got less than an hour to get subscribed for a chance to win a pair of courtside tickets and a rather nice parking pass for the Syracuse Wake Forest basketball game coming up on New Year's Eve afternoon. Well, we got those tickets in hand. We have non-courtside tickets that all you have to do is call at the right time. We'll tell you about that later in the program as well. But welcome in wherever you are, wherever you feel like being today on Q Sports Talk. If you're subscribed on the Twitch, if you're hanging with us, follow, favorite, subscribe, all the things on the YouTube. Wherever you are, wherever you feel like being today on this Monday before Christmas, as we're talking Q's Hoops today. Portal watch, eyes forward for Syracuse football. Bowl game is coming up on Friday. Looking forward to all of our holiday bowl coverage, which I'll be starting with you at 6. We'll have the TK tailgate with Paulie and Mike McAllister starting as early as 5 on TK99 and here on QSportsTalk.com. So looking forward to all of those things over the course of the week. One guest today, we like having Amanda Kristovich from Front Office Sports on. Amanda will be on for multiple reasons. She just wrote an article about the past and future of the topsy-turvy Pac-12, which was on the edge of oblivion and is now rallying back. Syracuse is playing a team from said Pac-12, Washington State, on Friday. Those things seem to combine nicely, so Amanda will join us coming up next hour. She was also at the Texas-Clemson game, covering it for Front Office Sports' first round of the college football playoffs this past Saturday down in Austin, so would love to get her thoughts on vibe check, college football playoffs. What was it like? What was the scene? ACC went down in flames. SMU and Clemson both in and out. See you later. In fact, all 4 losing teams went down in flames in the first round of the college football playoff. Not one of the 4 games was decided by single digits, though that is way less of a disaster than some are making it out to be. We'll talk about that as well as we head on about our couple of hours together on this Monday. But welcome in. As mentioned, as always, phone lines open and available to you. Certainly in hour 1 today at 315-437-7644. Without further ado, let's fire it up.
We start with the Burdick BMW opening drive.
Vroom, vroom, vroom as we enter into it here on this Monday, December 23rd. And, As much as sometimes we like to start with Portal Watch and see if Kyle McCord's been blinking at anybody or whatever's going on, we must start today. We must start with the basketball game. It's, we finished the post-game show Saturday, 49 hours ago. Is that good math? Yeah, right around 3 on Saturday, 49 hours ago. Yeah, it's not gotten better. It's just an absolute disaster fest of a performance, tip to tail for the Syracuse basketball team on Saturday afternoon down in Brooklyn. What do they have that was good from Saturday? Absolutely nothing. It was not a good game in essentially any context that you want to come out of it with. You look at the game, Syracuse came out slow. Maryland came out slow offensively. The game was kind of stuck in reverse there for the first 10 minutes. Maryland closed the first half decently enough, led by 26 at halftime. I mean, the game was over at halftime. All right, so Maryland's good. They're not great. They're good. They're fringe top 25, just inside, just outside, whatever. Tournament team likely, depending on how it plays out this year, but I'd say probably. Talented for sure. A team brimming with superstars? No. Was Syracuse favored to win the game? No. Did I think they were going to play a close game? Not really. That said, you're down 26 at halftime. That's a whole different ball of wax, what happened on Saturday. And then, honestly, I'd say the most disconcerting part of the game in my eyes was somehow not being down 26 at halftime. That was not good, being down 26 at halftime. The fact that somehow the starting lineup was entered incorrectly, not ideal. But, all right, you're down 26 at halftime. You'd like to hope, not that you're going to win the game. That ship had beyond sailed by the time halftime hit. Again, you were down 26 at halftime at the Barclays Center to Maryland. You would have hoped you would have come out for the second half with just, if not for a minute or two, a little bit of something to start the second half with. Realistically, if you're going to frame any 2 minutes of the game, I don't know how one goes about framing 2 minutes of a basketball game. I need to get an archivist on that. If you could frame any 2 minutes of the game and be like, this is what was wrong with Syracuse basketball on Saturday, and at least what has been wrong with Syracuse basketball this season. The first 2 minutes of the second half last game are it. You're down 26 at halftime, and in less than 2 minutes to start the second half, you give up a 10-2 run. The 2 threes, the 2 layups given up were contested like not even half an iota. They're just wide open layups or dunks or whatever they were. And Red's got to call a timeout less than 2 minutes into the half. I look at that 2 minutes, and it had to be, in many ways, the most dispiriting 2 minutes thus far this season. Yeah, there have been wins, there have been losses, JJ's hurt, all this stuff. I get it. There's a lot of reasons things have not gone well this year. But that first 2 minutes of the second half, that's just like, not only is the air out of the balloon's been crumpled up and tossed to the corner at that point. It was just a gross 2 minutes of basketball. Yeah, was there a quote-unquote run later in the game that made the game slightly tighter? I guess, but to what end? It's just one of those things where it was a gross day. Red was pissed, for lack of a better word. I'd say lack of a better word. That's probably exactly the right word after the game. And where do they go? This team's sitting here at 5-6. The season is, depending on how you want to view it, is borderline lost to lost. I still think there's things you can get out of the year, but realistically, among those things, it's not NCAA tournament bids or any of the stuff we prefer to get out of Syracuse basketball seasons around here. There's still steps to be made, gains to be made, progress you can make for the program, looking long-term, big picture. But how are you coming out of this Christmas break if you're Syracuse basketball? How are you coming out of it to attack your conference play, to put on, hopefully, more representative performances out there for Syracuse basketball and the brand that is Syracuse basketball? Because nobody's pleased with that. Nobody's pleased with it. He can't be. And if anyone is pleased with that, that's a problem. Like, Red clearly is not. He's not happy. He always talks about orange standard, whatever that means. I know what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean what we saw last game. It doesn't mean that. And it just feels like this year's team has been way too casual with stuff like that. All right, maybe you aren't talented enough. Maybe they did whiff in the portal last year. All right, fine. That happens. It just felt like they whiffed on the whole idea of effort and enthusiasm on Saturday. And for a chunk of the season, it's like, okay, you lost. I can, you don't want to accept it. Accepting it is maybe the wrong word. I can understand that. You lose games, whatever. To lose one like that, what are they doing? Like, what's going on? Hello, wake up. Like, is anybody awake here? Because that one, is it the worst loss in the history of the program? No, come on. Like, I mean, I don't think anything in my memory is going to stick out more than, that DePaul loss back in 2006 as far as just like, holy crap. This team is totally donezo with the year. Then it turned out, obviously, they were not. Overrated. 4 straight wins, Jerry. Like, we know the deal of the 2006 team. We know the legendary stories that go along with it that in many ways started with getting just absolutely crushed by 39 against a crappy DePaul team out in Chicago late in the regular season that year. Like, this ain't that. This is, it's in some ways worse than that. Like, is it a worse loss? Put it in a bottle? No. But, like, that one, you go back and look at, like, that DePaul loss, and you're like, it was angry-making. Like, that was the team that had Jerry and Devo and D-Nick and guys like that. Like, they were pissed. This is a dispiriting loss where it just feels like all the air is out of the balloon. All the air is out of the balloon. That's it. You're 11 games in. You're give or take a third of the way through the season. It's either, wow, we're a third of the way through the season, or if they want to have a change in mentality going forward, it could be, all right, they're only a third of the way through the season. AKA, there's still 2/3 of the season to do something to pick it up down the stretch. Be that whenever J.J. Starling gets back from injury. Be that, the freshmen, Freeman and Chapa, stepping more to the forefront and being the guys that take control of this team. I don't know where the answer is on this, but there needs to be something that is an answer to whatever we saw on Saturday, even if it's not something that means wins. Because obviously this team seems to be at a talent deficit right now. But there needs to be an answer to something for the idea of just being, representative in the form that is what we know to be Syracuse basketball here going forward for the next 2.5 months, whatever it may be, for a lot of reasons, right? Like, there's a possibility. Let's say there's more than a possibility. There's a guarantee. 3 teams in the ACC this year of the 18 will not participate in the ACC tournament. Only 15 of the 18 even make the tournament. That is part of the peril of these expanded leagues. Like, you cannot be in that group. Whew. Like, I can't even conceive of that thought process. But there's just it's a big ball of negativity right now that just hopefully, all right, it's a week, it's Christmas, everyone just get out, let it go for a few days. They'll be practicing on Christmas Day afternoon, as is tradition. Lock back in Wednesday afternoon, come out, Bucknell Saturday. They're no good. They're 4-8. Hopefully you blow the doors off them, which has not been a thing Syracuse has really done this season. And then go tangle with a Wake Forest team that's been underwhelming this year and see if you can just do something, anything, to salvage the end here of 2024 and set the table for something, anything, going forward into 2025. Because right now it's not a palatable what they're putting out on the court, and I don't think any of them would say it is. I don't think anybody involved would say it is right now. And that is our final Burdick BMW opening drive here of 2024. With that, let's get our final check of the markets here in 2024. For that, we bring in our guy Bill from Lee Baldwin. All right, Bill, how'd this Christmas Monday kick off for you guys?
And we finished in the green after opening mix, so we're trying to get our Santa Claus rally going. We actually had a nice Friday with the Dow jumping almost 500 points, up 66 points today. So things are perking up. We had plenty of diamonds. We have a new AI chip darling, which is called Broadcom, symbol AVGO, jumped over 5% on strong earnings last week, and then an upgrade over the weekend. So they're starting to at least challenge NVIDIA for at least stock appreciation. And on the downside, Walmart is not in the holiday spirit. It was down 2% as they got sued from the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau for questionable practices for paying their over 1 million delivery drivers. So not exactly a headline you want to see during the holiday season, but overall, pretty nice day.
Yeah, certainly not with all the deliveries they are making this day and the next.
Working their tails off, right?
For sure. All right, Bill, thank you as always. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you, and we'll talk to you again in the new year. All right, there he is,
okay.
our guy Bill from Lee Baldwin, last check-in of the year, because the next time we're on, it'll be January 2. That, I'm told, is a whole nother year. I'm told the stock market just keeps going. Like, they'll just keep it going. They will be doing some of the stocks while we're gone. Just because we're not talking to them doesn't mean they're not, investing and grinding, which means, as always, check them out, LeeBaldwin.com. All of the diamonds, none of the dogs, as we round out 2024 and points in the direction of 2025. LeeBaldwin.com. LeeBaldwin.com. All right, let's step aside here for a few. Phone lines open remainder of the hour. Our friend Amanda Kristovich from Front Office Sports will join us coming up around about an hour from now. 315-437-7644 for ESPN 44. Want to talk hoops, want to talk football, want to talk whatever the heck you want to talk. It's Festivus. The airing of grievances may commence now, as long as you have a tall metal pole in your house somewhere. The feats of strength. Whatever you'd like. We're back after this. It's Q Sports Talk and ESPN Radio.
The college.
What's up, chat? Yes, I'm very holidayed in my sweater attire. Hang on, I got to put in our Christmas music. Bumps. Last time of the year. Gotta do it, or else what's the point of the whole show? Just wasting all of our time if we don't have Christmas music, bump music on this Monday. Look, it's Mike. Mike has a PSA for us while I put in Christmas music, bump music. What is your PSA, Mike?
Do you use the internet extension Honey?
No.
Have you heard of it? It's the one where it'll search the internet for discount codes to see if you can save money.
I guess maybe I have heard of it.
For a while, for like 3 or 4 years, it was like all the biggest like YouTubers and stuff would be like sponsored and have their advertisements. And it was like recently discovered that
were they stealing all of our info?
No, they were.
I've got a Rakuten.
They were stealing.
They're stealing all my info, but they give me money.
So if you use somebody's affiliate code to go and purchase something, and you get like the 20 to 30% discount, whatever it is.
Yep.
America has a rule in place for our internet browsing where the last click is the one who gets commission. So what they would do is they would, while you hit the affiliate link, they would open up another browser afterwards, Honeywood, that would bring you to that link. So then
steal all your money?
No, not yours. They
steal your friend's money?
Yes, the person whose
money you're trying to.
Yeah, so they've it's been shown that they've like stolen millions from people, but it's not stealing because technically it's legal.
Legal theft.
Yeah.
America.
Very interesting though. Very, very interesting.
Unless you're one of the people that was supposed to be getting money.
Yeah. And it's owned by PayPal too. Very interesting.
Is Dominic the Donkey or Father Christian in my Christmas
So all
mix?
I'm seeing from this is that Fresno State should be in the playoffs because they're beating NIU, who beat Notre Dame.
Who's beating? Yeah.
So.
And they're in Boise, who's in the playoffs. So it all makes sense.
I just don't want Boise State to get absolutely dismantled.
You don't? Yeah. I hope that's a good game. I can see that dilemma, Q's. Yeah, like I can go for hearing it like once a year maybe, but that's probably enough Dominic the Donkey for me. Do you like Dominic the Donkey, Mike? The Christmas song?
Do I know that song?
Probably.
Sounds familiar, but I don't think I know it offhand.
It's about a donkey named Dominic.
on Christmas.
Yes, not Dom from North Carolina.
Well,
in the
no,
chat.
He's a person.
Yes, but he's the
not
one
a donkey.
asking about it. But he's also a Dominic. He's a mailman,
Dominic the person.
not a donkey.
You want to take bets on who this is? It's been pending for about a minute now.
What are the odds on Scooter? Would Scooter care on? Would Scooter even think it was worth me laying down our money to win the bet on it being Scooter at like minus 850?
He wouldn't even take that.
No.
How much time we got? No, we don't have enough time for a game.
We got good news for you, Mike. We got 6 more commercial breaks after this.
That's right, we do.
I dominantly won our last matchup
Oh my
of air
goodness,
hockey.
his head's getting massive.
It really
people.
is. You're gonna. I don't even know
It was
how that
4-3,
happened.
I believe. Oh, it was immediate. Your very first shot.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
I like how we've both in 7
Yeah.
games won a first shot,
Yeah.
best of 1 game.
2. I'm gonna leave.
Oh my! What a rollicking segment.
Oh, I made this shot. I left it there. The door was like this. I was sitting this weekend, and Paul No Crap was sitting right here, and I somehow threw it over him and made it.
It's reasonable to leave it there.
Yeah, he goes, "I'm gonna leave it there."
No. What's going on the YouTube? What's up, YouTube? Randy?
All across CNY, it's the 315. Here's Brian Higgins.
All right, rolling along here on this Monday as we kick off Christmas week. All the holidays are this week. Hanukkah starts on Wednesday as well. We got them all going here this week. Phone lines open and available to you. 315-437-7644. Let's crack them open. And we will start with our guy, Scooter. What's going on, Scoot?
Well, first of all, I mean, if you listen to Orange Nation, you found out that Canada actually celebrates Christmas. I don't know if you were listening to it earlier.
Yes, I learned many things about the holidays celebrated by our neighbors to the north earlier today. That is for sure, Scoot.
Yeah, so maybe you want to play the McKenzie brothers from Canada, the 12 Days of Christmas. That was done in the 80s. That might show you that they do celebrate from Christmas. In fact, I think they call Santa Claus Chris Canuck up there, I think. I'm not sure.
That sounds about right.
Yep, but I don't know what Steve's got against Canada. Of course, you heard the story. You went up there and you got in a fight with seagulls. That's like the Canadian protected bird. I heard just like Dave Winfield in that one. So they have a nickname now for him, call him Steven Seagal up there. So I don't know if he wants to go up there again in Canada, but I don't know.
I mean, that was this year. That was this year too, wasn't it, Scooter? So we just need to get the calendar flipped so Steve can be square with our neighbors to the north again.
A couple of that. I'm not talking football because obviously I didn't realize you're going to be gone until after the bowl game. So it's kind of interesting when you come back what's going to happen. But just quick one thing about the basketball. Coming out of that second half, like I said, that looked like a layup line. My high school coach was more resistant when we drove in high school in our layup line than what the Syracuse looked like they did for the first 5 minutes. And I mentioned it. It looked like Matador defense, and because when I heard the people in the stands kept yelling "Olay, Olay" when Maryland was just driving by Syracuse. So I didn't understand just the effort coming out of halftime when you're down 26.
It was grim.
It would be a fire. It's like. But anyway, so the football, how much of the actual bowl games did you see?
I have not seen it. Like I was in and out of the playoff games. I know I caught bits and pieces of all of them. I have not seen a ton of non-playoff football, though I do have the famous Idaho Potato Bowl going in front of my face right now. Yes.
That's it. I mean, that's the Potato Bowl. I mean, just vacationing in Idaho, I think, is a must thing. It's you got Northern Illinois and Fresno State says not again proudly because they go there every other year, but to play Boise. But the Indiana game was interesting because it looked like the Ohio State game plan. Didn't understand it, and then when he punched the ball down 3 scores with 12 minutes to go, McDonough went nuts, and I thought the same thing. I'm going, it's all or nothing, and
Right.
you're actually putting the ball. The SMU, I know analytics doesn't believe in momentum, but that first drive, I know you saw it, where they had a 4th and 1. But if they pick it up and they score, who knows? Because basically the first 2 touchdowns were Penn State was pick sixes.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Penn State's offense didn't do a lot early, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they got moving a little bit late,
yeah.
but those 2 pick sixes completely killed the game for SMU.
And then they had 2 drives inside the 10-yard line, and they seemed to go away from how they got down there. But the Clemson situation, your season's on the line. Everything's on the line. Texas's best part of their defense is the front 4, and you got the ball at the 1-yard line. How you got down there was by passing, and I think they're going to roll the quarterback out and give him options. And the last play that really meant something, you run the ball up the middle. You've got to be kidding, right? I mean, that's the best part of the Texas defense. It wasn't like any type of fakes or nothing. It's like, okay, we're just going to hand off, and we think we're going to block you. And didn't understand it, but from the play calling, and these are just the playoff games. I mean, the bowl games. Who knows? I mean, I'll say this, though. Keep an eye on Colorado, okay? The man who knows, I don't know if he's going to do any picks before he goes off the air. But Colorado's might use this bowl game. It's like USC used to use the bowl game under Carroll when they weren't in the championship game to get people to notice to start next season.
Yeah.
And they're playing, ironically, another packed Big 12 team. So a team that might represent them at the end of next year. And if there's a tiebreaker, who knows? But if they can't put at least 28 points on BYU inside a dome stadium in the Alamo Dome, I'd be totally surprised. All the stars are playing. I mean, God love them. I mean, maybe a little bit more with this NIL stuff, but it seems like some more stars are hanging around for these bowls that you didn't expect them to hang around. And God love them. But the interesting part is, I think it's the opposite, and we talked about this. I didn't understand the bowl situation where the teams are having the byes don't play a home game. It seems like it should be the opposite, where the first round should be neutral, and the teams that have the byes should have a home game. But these teams here that are going to be playing for the first time New Year's Day or the 31st, they've been off for 25 days.
Yeah.
And that's rusty, and it's neutral site. And so I'm kind of confused on that part of the deal. We'll see what happens at the end. But I'm hoping Arizona State plays well against Texas. I think they can. The best game obviously should be Ohio State and Oregon. I can't believe the over-under is only 54. I mean, my God, that might be at halftime. My boys in Boise, this is what we talked about. I wish the system was better under the Kellen Moore era. Chris Peterson, because they went out and played Power 5 teams back then on the road and beat them, and they're actually 3-0 in the Fiesta Bowl, the BCS era. They beat Oklahoma, Arizona, and TCU. The year that TCU and Boise State played, both the big boys, the Blue Bloods, were afraid that Boise and TCU would beat the Alabamas of the world, so they put them together. That was kind of politically rigged, so they wouldn't be embarrassed again after what Utah did to Alabama the year before. So anyway, I'm hoping Gentry can have a big day, but you will see. Penn State is interesting. I think Boise can compete against them. Oh, by the way, the guy that's made more money by not playing it down, remember the 5-star quarterback that was at USC that went to Boise?
Yeah, he's touring the country now, right?
He's touring the country right now. Everybody talks about the Penn State backup, but I don't know who the heck Boise's got, but this guy here couldn't even get off the bench against a guy that didn't even start one down for Boise the year before. But that guy here had to make a ton of money to go to Boise. I mean, they had to, especially coming from USC and supposed to be the top prospect coming out of high school the year before. But anyway, Brian, have a great holidays. Thank you for this year for letting me, have this platform, and it was great. And like I said, I learned a lot about Canada today. I'm sure Steve realizes that Canada is sort of like us, but they just use the word A lot more.
Yeah, Boxing Day coming up on the 26th, so we got
That's
that.
That's it. Mike Tyson, is he coming back to fight that day too?
Probably, yeah. I haven't quite figured out all the rules on that up there. All right, Scooter, thanks as always.
Thanks a lot, Brian.
All right, there he is, our guy, Scooter. All right, let's keep it moving on the phones. Dave standing patiently by. We got Dave in the queue. Say, Dave.
Hey, Brian. Thanks for welcoming me on the Scooter Talk Show.
Yes, exactly. We like to slot you all in if we can. You can get you a segment next if you want.
Wow. Let me just get a sip of coffee here after that one. Listen, on the basketball team quickly. I don't know if this is going to help, Brian, but a lot of times when teams get in this situation, when it gets to this point, a players-only meeting sometimes helps the energy. I mean, I think Autry's done all he can. I feel bad that he's getting the blame for everything, but that's what a head coach does. He takes the blame for everything. I just don't know who the leader on this team that would take the lead on something like that would be. You think JJ, I know he's injured right now. I don't know if he's that type, but certainly not Chris Bell. Most of the veterans on this team are guys that are here for the first year.
Yeah.
But somebody's got to call a players-only meeting, get these guys in there, and get them energized to work for their coach, because they're not playing for their coach right now, and I don't understand that. This is a guy I'd love to play for if I were a kid like them. And it just doesn't seem like they're going hard for him, and that makes no sense to me. But sometimes if a guy takes the lead on the team, you get a players-only meeting going, it kind of re-energizes them, and I'm not sure how much it would help this team. But who do you think the leader would be in something like that, Brian?
I mean, players only meeting or on the court or whatever. My sense is that JJ's the leader of the group. It's just obviously it's harder to lead when you're hurt, and he's not like a rah-rah in-your-face leader type. That's just not his personality. So I think like the value of his leadership is literally him being on the court all of the time. So it's tough. I look everywhere else, like Jair Davis plays hard, but he doesn't seem to be the most vocal guy. Like you like your point guard to take control. It doesn't seem like that's necessarily what Jaquan Carlos is. It's definitely not what Eddie Lampkin is, and now it's definitely not what Chris Bell is. I think a guy like it seems maybe to be like Choppa Moore's personality, but he's a freshman. That's just how it works. So I look back at last year. They maybe didn't always lead him in the right direction, but the guys would at least turn to Judah, it felt like, right, last year. And sometimes that was right and sometimes that was wrong. But, yeah, it sure seems like this year's team, among other things, Dave, is missing that for sure.
For sure. I do like what Jair said at the end of the game. They interviewed him after the game Saturday, and he said, Adrian Autry didn't make one turnover.
Yep.
He didn't miss one rebound. He wasn't on the court at all. We're the ones to blame. So it sounded like he could be the guy. He just seems like a quiet guy. But, boy, do they need that leader that is going to get these guys together and talk to them, because it's just Adrian's voice at him right now. And at some point you tune that out when you're not playing well. So I do have one question, though. Brian, when Dan Engelstad came on as an assistant coach, did he take over the guards, or did they move Allen to the guards and Engelstad went to the big guys?
That is a good question, Dave. I'm not 100% certain on that. I believe Engelstad, I could be wrong here. I believe Engelstad is doing the guards. I think Griff may have shifted to the forwards. I could be wrong on that. Griff will be joining the show weekly starting in January, so that is something we will 100% ask him. I think also, even though they clearly have their own groups, Red has preached the idea of a more collaborative effort of those things, so I don't know if it's quite as cleanly delineated as it would have been under Coach Boeheim, where you had guards, forwards, and centers, because, they talk more about positionless basketball and all that stuff. So that is definitely something I want to ask Griff about, and when you get him on in January. I don't know, though, 100% on that.
Okay, that's interesting, if Autry did do that. I haven't heard that from any other team. Usually there is obviously there's collaboration, but usually you have a position coach for, each position. But Boy, if that is the case, that doesn't seem to be working well. So maybe there's a change there we can make.
Yeah, I'd say at this point there's probably a lot of changes that need to be made when you look at how things have been going this year.
For sure.
All right, Dave.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, happy holidays, Brian.
You as well. Thanks for the call from Dave in the Q's. All right, lots of calls stacking up here. Who do we got next? We got Rob in the Mohawk Valley. Hey, Rob, what's going on?
Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
Good.
Thanks for taking the call. Just mirror off the last callers in regards to, you can't find that guy on the team that's going to be the leader. I really don't know if there is. I don't know if it's talent. I feel bad for Audrey. He's a great coach. I just think I don't think we have the talent this year. It shows in a lot of games, against the good teams, even sometimes against the teams that we should be beating pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you look at last year versus this year. People are like, oh, what's the difference? Clearly, last year's team was more talented. You had Judah, Judah was leagues above. I think anybody you have this year, like you could go get you a bucket whenever he felt like it. It also felt like that team was a bit rudderless. But when you don't have a leader, but you're more talented, you're going to win. You're going to win more games. So it feels like a tough spot for Red here when you don't have somebody actively seizing control of that. When you're also trying to learn to be the head coach and all that, you wish you had a more vocal presence on the court who could certainly take some of that load on out there with the other guys.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of it, too, could be the Boeheim effect. I mean, Boeheim's gone. You're not going to get the recruits that, you used to get. Maybe it's that issue.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. Like, it all goes into it. I mean, you see the freshman recruits you're getting, which are good. It just, in this day and age of college basketball, when nobody's sticking around long enough, those freshmen are not translating until upperclassmen where they can then turn into the leaders of the team. So to try to find that amongst players now is probably harder than it's ever been before.
I agree. I appreciate you taking my call. Happy holidays to all you guys.
You as well, Rob. Thank you as always for checking in, Rob, from the Mohawk Valley. Let's get one more in before we go to break. It is Sam from Pittsburgh, who's got to begin ready to make his way out to San Diego to check out the marching band in the bowl game. Sam, what's going on?
You know it, buddy. Hey, listen, I was just going to follow up on Scooter's call from a little bit earlier. When you grow up and live in these parts, you either follow Penn State or Pitt. We've always been Penn State people. I wish them all the best. I think they're going to be just okay. That defense is legit. SMU had a great year. God bless them, and good showing for the ACC. But, I will try to get your report from San Diego. Looking forward to it. And for any alums that are heading out, we just found out that there's actually going to be a parade that we're welcome to march in. So if you're going out and you're wearing orange, let's get together and have a good time. I'll try to get your report from out there, my friend. Merry Christmas. You as well, Sam. We'll be on for the postgame show. So give a ring after and let us know how it all went down out there at the Holiday Bowl. And safe flight and good trip to you. Thanks, buddy. I will do. All right. There he is, our guy Sam from Pittsburgh. Marching band parent. Football diehard, and our Holiday Bowl man on the scene. There we go. Boots on the ground. We like that. All right, let's hit a break. Phone lines remain open when we come back at 315-437-7644. We can get a little portal watch in our lives. Also, right now, 315-436-437. What's our number? It's only been saying it every day for years. 315-437-7644. That's the order we put the numbers in. For ESPN 44. Merry Christmas to all of you. This is what we got. Callers 3 and 4. 3 and 4 right now will each get a pair of Wake Forest tickets. Later in the show today, roundabouts 5-ish, make sure you're subscribed to Q Sports Talk on Twitch because it is Subscriber Monday, and we're going to do our subscriber drawing for 2 courtside tickets to the Wake Forest game on New Year's Eve afternoon and a wonderful, very close by parking pass. We'll do that later on. We'll get the subscriber list and get that ready to go. But right now, callers 3 and 4, each of you getting a pair of tickets. Merry Christmas! Enjoy a basketball game on us, Syracuse and Wake Forest on New Year's Eve afternoon. With that, we'll step aside, get a little football portal watch in our lives, and your calls next. 315-437-7644. Back after this, Q Sports Talk, ESPN Radio.
The Sport.
Yeah, those are the numbers, Kev. Where are we? 555-5555. Look, it's Mike. David is getting our winners. Mike is getting our air hockey game, where we shall duel to the death for one final time before Christmas. Will our all-time series be tied at 4? Will Mike take a 5-3 lead that potentially will head to the new year?
Can we end the season in a tie?
Does the season end after today?
True. That is true.
Yeah, it could just be like holiday break, and then we...
Is this the in-season tournament?
I don't know. Or are you here for either the bowl game or the basketball game Saturday?
Friday, I'm here for the Crunch game.
Suppose you could ignore the Crunch and come over. We could play a game, but that seems a little extreme.
You have all rights. Rights reserved, brother. There's a lot more. This is the most pressure. We'll get a restart. This is the most pressure I've felt, honestly, going into a game. I don't want to let you tie it up. Oh, yeah. I almost made it on myself. That was a lot. We're like uneven here.
Almost got an own goal.
God damn. Oh, wait. Is it in?
Is it in?
Does that count?
That feels in.
Can I get it out? Can I try?
I don't know. I mean, how's that not in? Now it's in.
Oh, man.
Series tied at 4. What a comeback.
Credit.
What a comeback.
You were in the depths and you've crawled out.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. There's my gift to you. Shameful defeat.
I've never had my confidence stripped so quickly.
But now we're teammates again as we battle for third place in our fantasy league. We have the lead.
If we went from 5th to 3rd, I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can't get cheap tickets for Q's Hoops the rest of the way, woo, doggy. It cycles through Dilemma Q's on the lower part of the graphic. It cycles through. What's up, CBW? Oh, we got to start getting ready here for our Subscriber Monday draw. We got to stretch out a little. Get stretched. Must be present to win. Also, Subscriber Monday, just advance stuff. We'll be able to email you the tickets. The actual parking pass is here at the office. So at some point, you will need to come pick up the parking pass when anybody is available at the office. Bowling ball is here. When is the drawing? Not next break, the break after. T-takes. 5-ish. Big Poppy wants to be picked. I think it's Rainer. Cavendo, it's on my desk. I think it's a Rainer pass. I believe it's Rainer. Yes. I will not stop you from wearing a bag over your head if you win these tickets.
All across CNY, it's the 315. Here's Brian Higgins.
All right, rolling along here on this Monday, our final show of the year. Whoa! Save for all those other shows we're going to do still this year, but they aren't this show. We got bowl game shows, basketball shows. We got shows. It's just not this show. Be with you Friday evening for our football pregame coverage. TK Tailgate with Paulie and McAllister starts at 5. I'll be with you at 6 up till kickoff, and then hanging out late night. Vibing on postgame. Wrapping up the season. Fran Brown, Kyle McCord, all that good stuff. Then basketball, we got full coverage for Bucknell on Saturday. Pregame at 1 for the 2 o'clock tip. Postgame with Red Autry's full press conference coming up after. But this, pour some out. The final time of the year we get to do this. That would have been more dramatic if it had started when I hit the button. Take 2. The final time of the year we get to do this.
The portal is open.
Prepare ship for ludicrous speed.
Players on the move.
Scotty, beam us up fast.
Where are they going?
To infinity and beyond.
It's another edition of Portal Watch.
Ludicrous speed. Go!
Portal Watch Day 15. Fran Brown, year 2. Oh, we need Portal Watch like we need oxygen right now, especially with the way basketball season is going. Portal officially opened 2 weeks ago. It will officially close for entrance, not for exit. It never closes for exit. You don't want people trapped in the portal permanently. It is closing for entrance on Saturday, I believe at midnight. End of the day Saturday. They've shortened the portal this year. It will reopen end-ish of spring ball. Will be open again from April 16th to April 25th. But let's bring us up to date on everything we need to know about the portal since we last chatted about this on Friday. The Ricky Collins drama of midweek onward is finally done, as he officially committed and has signed with Syracuse, the LSU backup quarterback, as of Friday evening. The question now becomes, is he now the odds-on favorite? Is there an odds-on favorite to start the season opener next year? Is there anything more to the smirking Kyle McCord? When will he get a ruling on his waiver appeal with the NCAA? And if he gets the ruling that we want him to get, what does it mean? Not a clue on timetables for that. Not a clue on timetables for that, but will certainly be something to keep an eye on. Will we hear any more on that from Kyle after the game on Friday? He and Fran are very good at like pushing back releasing of information until after would be a distraction for the field. So after the game on Friday, I do wonder if anything more comes to light on waivers or whatnot. And how did any of that affect their work in the portal now, Ricky Collins, that going forward? But the Syracuse quarterback situation for next year will continue to remain fascinating here, regardless of what day of Portal Watch if we are on, because for everything we've heard about Ricky Collins, sounds great. He's thrown 7 passes in his career. Completed all of them. Even Kyle McCord didn't complete all of his passes at Ohio State, because he started an entire season at Ohio State. The one thing we don't know that we certainly do about Kyle or some of the other guys in the portal, one of the things Fran says he wants is, I want a winner. Ricky Collins has never started a game. Who knows? But it would feel like if he's the only new addition to the quarterback spot besides what's on the roster and what has been recruited, that like spring ball this year is going to be a competition. Spring ball last year wasn't a competition. It wasn't even a coronation. Spring ball last year was getting Kyle McCord on the same page and getting this offense ready to go. This year it would feel like if it's Ricky Collins and Jakari Williams and Luke Carney and whatever, competition for the starting job. But we're going to try to keep that Kyle McCord door open as long as we possibly can. 2 official ads out of the portal over the weekend. Collins was last Friday night. Trip Woody, the potential new kicker for the Orange. He was a walk-on at Iowa last year. He redshirted. Apparently was a big-time kicker out of North Carolina in high school. He's yet to play college ball. He's got 4 years left, so toss him into the mix to hopefully solve Syracuse's special team woes from this past year. And another wideout, Tyshawn Russell, redshirted this past year at South Carolina, played sparingly 2 years ago, a former 3-star recruit out of Pennsylvania. He's 5'11", 195. Mike McAllister earlier today on Orange Nation described him as kind of a potential Trevor Pena type. We all know Trevor's coming back this next year as a captain, so we'll see what this guy can do. But Fran, 6 in, including his son from the portal this year, and including quarterback Ricky Collins. We knew it wasn't going to be as busy in the portal this year as last due to the freshmen, and he's stabilized the roster a little bit, but will be interesting to keep an eye on it in the days going forward. A little portal watch for you here today. All right, let's get a call in before we hit the break. We're bringing our guy George from Memphis. Hey, George, what's going on?
Hey, happy holidays.
You as well?
First of all, big, huge football game Friday night. I think you know that, and I really hope the defense is ready. No new quarterback for Washington State. I might be a shootout, but if our defense does a good to okay job, we're going to win that football game. But on basketball, there's no excuse in 2024 not to see a team running an offense that gets good looks at the basket. I understand missing shots, and I understand sometimes maybe getting out rebounded if you don't have great center play. And when you're not seeing it in a game, the head man has got to stop the game and make sure that it gets changed immediately. And there's no excuse, Brian, also in 2024 to see, penetration into the lane, strong hand dribble. Where's the scouting report making guys go to the weak hand, pinching people into the corners that we've seen Syracuse do for so long? And I mean, I know a lot of us are concerned about personnel, which I am too, massively concerned about personnel. But I'm also now really puzzled with what's happening, 20-minute halves at a time with Red.
I'd say like the help defense, whether it's Red or the players or who knows, like the help defense this year has been non-existent inside. Like that first 2 minutes, George, and I'm sure you're thinking of this, of the second half last game where they got multiple just nobody helped out wide open layups. It's like, what just happened? Like that can't be what was drawn up. It is baffling at this point of the season.
And you have to wonder, how is the 4 days prior to the game, how is the practice time being utilized? I mean, those are things that you break down from game film. You understand your own players' weaknesses. You get right combinations in there. If you can't stop the dribble drive, you've got to mix in some zone, don't you think?
Yes, I guess is one answer. But then, like in the man, like there are plenty of options. Like you're supposed to clearly, you can see some of the times that the guys are looking at each other. Clearly, at some point, be it Lampkin or one of the forwards, Freeman or something, is supposed to slide over for some help, and it's not been happening when they've played man. It's not been happening when they've played zone. And regardless of the defense called, that stuff has not happened all year long. And you say it right. I mean, we're used to watching that. When the zone was really good. You're looking back 10, 15 years ago. You had the auto slides built in that did all that stuff. Yeah, we haven't seen it regardless of what the defense is this year. And my goodness, is it frustrating.
Well, let's hope they're ready for Buck now. Thanks.
All right, thank you. There he is, our guy George in Memphis. And zone. I don't know if it's the style of defense they're playing this year because it's not like when we've seen them try zone that stuff has been better. When in theory, switching to zone would do exactly what George is saying, is make some of that stuff better. It's just. It has been a head-scratching effort. Is it a combination of youth and portal? Is it a combination of just bad defenders? Is it scheme? Is it some of all of it? Yes, I guess. I don't know. But it's incredibly frustrating for us and for Red, certainly, and you'd hope it's frustrating for the players as well. With that, we'll take a break. Much more to come after this. Our friend Amanda Kristovich from Front Office Sports, about 20 minutes out in hour 2. We're back after this here on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Radio. Maybe they can change the NCAA rules so just Kyle McCord is just always eligible. Aaron was on earlier today, Ryan, on Orange Nation. Roundabouts 1:30. And we learned all about Canadian Christmas and Canadian Jesus. Which I could attempt to explain to you, Ryan, but just go back and check out the archive. Oh, you better believe I did, Kev. It was funny. Yeah, Canadian Christmas. Leave a Labatt out for Santa. I know, Ryan, is the short answer. I, like everybody else who was not watching, saw Charlie Wood's hole-in-one, whenever that was, on the social medias, but that is about all I saw of it. Scheffler won? Did I see Scheffler won? Is that accurate? I saw a bunch of Scheffler tweets. Bryan Adams' Reggae Christmas. Do I know that song? I don't know it by title, T. Murphy. It'd be weird to have an old... let's see. Bryan Adams, Reggae wrong. Reggae Christmas. What's happening here? Let's see. Pee Wee Herman. I don't know if I've ever heard this before. Pee Wee Herman is dressed up in like a reggae wig. I don't think I've ever heard that before. Bernhard Longhair. You did not win yet, CJC. Yeah, literally the only shot I saw was the Charlie Woods hole-in-one. Big Papi is one. No further questions. No, Tiger didn't even see the swing. He just saw the result. That's kind of wild.
All across CNY, it's the 315. Here's Brian Higgins.
All right, rolling along here on this Monday. 'Tis the holiday season and all that good stuff. Christmas, Hanukkah, everything's starting on Wednesday. Later on this week, phone lines available to you for the next little bit at 315-437-7644. It is Subscriber Monday, our final Subscriber Monday on Q Sports Talk of the year. We will, in the next commercial break coming up momentarily, pick amongst our subscribers. Must be subscribed and present to win. It's in the fine print. Who is going to win our courtside seats and fancy parking pass coming up for the game against Wake Forest on New Year's Eve afternoon. All right. Hope everybody is locked and loaded for that. Coming up here in just a little bit. Also a chance to remind you here, hey, Lights on the Lake. Go do that. It's Christmas. Get your tickets in advance only at lightsonTheLake.com. lightsonthelake.com. Get your tickets now. You pick your day of the week. You pick when you understand how this stuff works. So do that. Get your tickets, and if you need a little last minute stocking stuffer, how about some Brewfest tickets coming up end of January, beginning of February at the Horticulture Building at the New York State Fairgrounds, cnybrewfest.com. Tickets, pick your session, the whole thing, limited edition golden tickets available out and about at the Wildcat. And now and later. With that, we will take a break. Hour 2 coming up next. We'll visit with Amanda Kristovich from Front Office Sports in about 15 minutes. Next, we're going to no wrong answers both the bowl game and the Bucknell game. We're no wrong answering the whole week. Why? Because we can, guys. Darn it. And your calls, 315-437-7644. Get to Q Sports Talk during the break. We're going to pick our winner. Subscriber Monday. Courtsides. Wake. Parking pass. Back after this here on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Radio. All right. The suspense. The suspense is high. Oh, got to stretch, crack my knuckles. Here we go. Let's go into the list. We've got the list. We're copying and pasting the list. We're going to the randomize button. We're hitting the randomize button. And the winner of our courtside seats for Wake Forest, coming up on New Year's Eve afternoon, 2 o'clock in the Dome, on December the 31st, 2024, is somebody that either just subscribed or resubscribed when I mentioned it was Subscriber Monday, I believe during Orange Nation earlier. Our winner is JG 2000 Cuse. Congratulations, JG 2000 Cuse. Check your whispers. I'm going to send you a whisper. We're going to need your email address to get you the tickets. And we're going to need you at some point to come down to the old station to a 1-month subscriber, literally making it happen immediately. We're going to send you a whisper from the Q Sports Talk account here, JG 2000 Qs. I'm doing it right now, JG 2000 Qs. Just congrats on winning. I don't know why I'm yelling. Wake Forest courtside tickets for Subscriber Monday. Exclamation mark. Shoot us your name, email, and cell phone so we can steal your identity. I mean, so we can get you those tickets from Ticketmaster. Mm-hmm. I also need you to come down to the Galaxy office at 235 Walton Street to pick up the parking pass. Boink. We rigged it for whoever JG 2000 Cuse is. Kev wishes you to get drunk and fall in the snow. It's Subscriber Monday. Anything can happen. Is it Joe Girard? It would be wild if we just gave my cousin. I don't think I have a JG cousin. Gavendo, if I was going to rig tickets for relatives, I would just have never told you about the tickets in the first place. Yes, we need your social security number, mother's maiden name, last 4 digits of your credit card, first 3 digits of your credit card, and the middle 2 digits of your credit card. Come on, CJ. You got to bribe me better than that. Did it blow away in the wind? But JG 2000 Qs, check your whispers. If you don't know where your whispers are, it's the thing at the top. If you're on the computer, that little square thing with a little pointy at the bottom that says whispers. On your phone, there's how do you get to it in the app again? I always forget. You get to it in the app with there's a way. There you go to. It's not letting you reply. Do you see the whisper, JGQs, that I sent you? Are you seeing the whisper? If you can't find the whisper, redo. We'll communicate again during the next break. You all you see it, but you can't reply. That's peculiar. Hang on. In the next break, I will send you an email address to just email JGQs. It's an impressive bot. All right, hour 2 here commences as we roll along through our final show here of the year. Amanda Kristovich of Front Office Sports is going to join us in about 10 minutes. We're going to talk to her about the Pac-12. She wrote an article about the Pac-12 and its current evolution. Why? Because Syracuse is playing a team from the Pac-12 on Friday. Yeah, Washington State. Pac-2, Pac-12, Pac whatever. She was also at the Texas-Clemson game on Saturday. So I'll get a little college football playoff talk in as well. But right now, phone lines open and available. 315-437-7644. You know the digits, as does our next caller. He is Pat in the queues. What's up, Pat?
I don't even know your digits, to be honest with you. I have you programmed in my phone.
There we go. All right. Good enough. You don't need to know the numbers. I forgot the numbers earlier. You don't need to know the numbers if you just got it on speed dial. So that'll work, too.
Well, I'm getting old enough. I don't even know if I know my own phone number, but that's neither here nor there. So this is the last show of the year, right?
This is it. Well, I'll be there for post game Saturday, Pat, and Tim Leonard will get you post game and pregame after Wake. So we'll have plenty of time to discuss basketball. But yes, this is the last 315 of the year.
Wait, there's more. There's more games. I thought the season was over.
That's what I've been told. Yes, I'm going to show up on Saturday and just see if something happens. But we're gonna test it out on Saturday to see if they show up and play ball.
So the one narrative I want to fight right here and now is that last year was a successful year, because that's just not the case. Okay, when you don't even have to dive deep into last year to see the season was a mess. Okay, people say, like your boy Steve and Paulie, we won 20 games. It was a good first year. No, it wasn't. I mean, we lost double-digit games. I believe it was 10 or 11 games by 15 points or more. I mean, that is not a successful season. We won really against tournament teams. We beat Oregon and NC State, and NC State wasn't anywhere near what they were when we beat them. And it took a heroic – I mean, we didn't do anything of any remarks last year to show – and I mean, you made a point, Brian, that I do agree with. You said on your last show that you could see things were starting to turn in the right direction towards the end of last year. Mm-hmm. What did you see? What did you specifically see?
It's a long time ago, Pat. I'm just trying to remember going back to last year. Like we were talking about Red being a first-time head coach. It felt like things were a little wonky with, rotations and plays and whatever at the beginning of the year. It felt like that smoothed out as the year went along to me when you're looking at that. And obviously you had Judah. I mean, Judah's better than anybody on this year's team. So you're better players. You had more talent at the end of the year last year. Judah and Malik and JJ, those guys were playing well down the stretch last year. And, Syracuse won games.
Yeah, last year, I mean, obviously this year we don't have JJ, but, I mean, Lemoyne just got trounced by Notre Dame by, I don't know, it was 25 or 30 points. I mean, look, and we had JJ for that. So, to me, this, like everybody thinks, you know, unfortunately, Brian, this is the topic that you're going to have, is Red, the guy.
Yep.
I want you to find me somebody in this town that can honestly say Red is the guy. Okay, this is bigger than Red Autry. He's a great guy. He's probably a great number 2. He's not the guy. I mean, I could point to this last game. Okay, anybody who's the guy is at least going to have some sense of direction in that game. It was a mess. Okay, it was one of the worst halves of basketball ever. But if you give a scholarship to McLeod, who is my least favorite player of all time on Syracuse, he's that bad. But you gotta show something. And what I'm saying to you is, I'm not saying McLeod is the answer, but why are you giving a guy a scholarship, bringing him back, if in a 30-point blowout he can't get minutes? Chance Westry, I know he's a mess. He's a work in progress. He's months away from being ready. There's no doubt. But give him some minutes in a blowout to get him ready. I'm not saying he's the answer this year, but you got to have some sense of purpose. Now tell me this. How can Donnie Freeman and Chapa Moore get under 30 minutes when just a few short years ago, Jimmy Boeheim was getting 35 minutes a game on a better team? I mean, it blows my mind with the lack of, I mean, there's so many head-scratching coaching moves. I mean, how is somebody in the media not asking Coach, hey, Autry, why is Freeman playing less than 30 minutes? Why is Chapa Moore? I mean, you can't even get the starting lineup right. I mean, there is no argument. This is a train wreck. Wildhack needs to be held accountable. Red needs to be held accountable. Everybody has a job to do, Brian. I have one. You have one. Everyone has one. They're not even doing the bare minimum. It's very upsetting. That's all I got. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Pat. And, you know, I think it's this with Red. This is kind of what I said on Saturday. Here's my current thoughts on Red. Is he doing a good enough job today, right now? No. But that does not mean you should get fired for that today. Like, I think when you hire people for jobs like this, especially in this circumstance, like once you've made the decision to hire Red and have one of your lead assistants take over after the legend leaves, and you know, same case at Duke replacing Coach K, same case at Carolina with Hubert Davis, Shire, like same at all of those situations. Once you have made that decision, now whether you should have made that decision is separate. Once you have made that decision, you gotta let it marinate for a little bit. You have to. Whether it's working or not, you have to let it marinate for a little bit. For better or worse, and yeah, I agree with a lot of what Pat's saying on the in-game coaching. I don't think it's been Red's strong suit so far. Though last year, and this is what's a little confusing this year, I thought in like January into February, we saw in-season improvement on that in a steady manner, which you'd like to see from a first-time head coach. Because Jim Boeheim, like, did Jim Boeheim listen to his assistants in-game? Of course he did. But Jim Boeheim always said, like, this is why I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid, like, on game day to coach this team. Like, this is my job. And he was fantastic at it. Jim was a fantastic in-game coach, especially later in his career. You look at the back half, and when I say later, I mean literally like the back half of his career, later in his career. It's like a 25-year period. But, you know, he knew the in-game adjustments and all that stuff. But it's one of these things where you got Kyan Anthony, you got Sadiq White coming in, you know, like the in-game coach or not. That's part of Red. I say you got to give it. Now, it may not be the right answer, but while we can't know it's the right answer yet, I don't think we can be 100% certain it's the wrong answer yet. How's that? All right, one more call before the break. Let's get our guy Tony in from the Qs. Hey, Tony, what's up?
Hi, Brian. I just want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Looking forward to the holiday, bowl game. And I don't know if I talked to you about the NIL. I ended up going to that dart party.
Mm-hmm.
It actually turned out quite well. I was able to get Fran Brown to sign a picture of my nephew from one of the games. And then I had a conversation with Kyle McCord because I had an interaction with him at the first quad walk, and I sort of said something to him and asked him if he remembered. He said he did. I don't think he was just giving me lips in any service, but he also signed a shirt. But all the guys and coaches were really nice. We talked about different things, so it was. I found it to be worthwhile.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear they did that. That's what my sense is about Fran and Kyle, especially, and all these guys. It certainly has trickled down throughout the football team that you're going to get some nice, genuine interactions with them, which is pretty cool because it's, obviously NIL's a part of it. There's a reason they're doing it now, but it's easy to blow people off, so it's nice to hear they don't do that.
Well, I don't think they're just doing it because, you paid the money to go to that thing. I just found that they gave everybody a lot of time, but they got into some different conversations, and the coaches were just as nice that I was able to interact with. But I just really want to say, to you and everybody there to have a, great Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Right.
And enjoy your time. Stay away from social media.
You as well, Tony. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. That's our guy, Tony, in the queue. So, all right, let's hit a break here. When we come back, we'll bring in Amanda Kristovich, Front Office Sports. She was at a college playoff game on Saturday, and she's written about the Pac-12. Syracuse is playing Washington State on Friday. It's all the football things we need to talk about. We'll do it with Amanda next year on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Radio.
Georgia.
Okay. Yeah. People might leave, but it hasn't happened yet. Like we're judging red on things that haven't happened yet. Pardon me, texting our winner back. Or emailing our winner back. If you want more conspiracies on our subscriber, there you go, Kev. If you want more subscriber Monday conspiracy theories, you want to know the first name of our ticket winner? Jordan. Bum, bum, bum. Mike, I'm going to text you the email, the info of our ticket winner so you can send them the tickets. Yeah, any of them. I don't know. Pick your favorite. I'm going to text you the info, and then you'll see. Yes, it's Jordan's burner account. And it's Jordan Rodgers. And Michael Jordan.
Here's Brian Higgins.
All right, rolling along here on this Monday. Let's bring in our next guest here today. She is Amanda Kristovich from Front Office Sports. She is, unfortunately, as always, still a Georgetown grad. So, Amanda, you can have a moment to gloat over the hoops game from a week and a half ago, if you'd like. We're already feeling bad enough about it, but if you'd like to pile on, you may.
Look, all I'll say is I'll make you feel better, and I'll make your listeners feel better. The Hoyas may be 10-2. You know, a lot of us are saying we are so back. I'm cautiously optimistic. Okay, I'm not. You know, I'm not. I'm expecting a first 4 out situation here potentially. I'm expecting to be disappointed as I always am. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay. I don't think there's literally anything you could say to make our listeners feel better about Syracuse basketball right now. We are not in a good way. Things are not going great, and it's probably best just to leave it at that for now, or else we'll descend into what the rest of the show has been. The reason we have you on, you're writing about the Pac-12. Syracuse is playing Washington State on Friday, but you're also at the college football playoff over the weekend. You are Clemson, Texas. So give us a vibe check. What was an in-person college football playoff experience like for you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was incredible. Obviously, all 4 CFP games that happened this past weekend were on campus for the first time in CFP history. You know, there's been so much griping about the fact that all 4 of the games, you know, weren't exactly down to the wire. You know, but as basketball fans, we know that sometimes it happens in the early rounds of the postseason. There's kind of nothing you can do about it. There were close matchups. Look at Tennessee and Ohio State, right? So I would just say, like, outside of the on-field product, right, just the experience of being at a postseason game on a campus where you get to have all the pageantry of, you know, Matthew McConaughey was on the sidelines, and they had their mascot, which is like a large live animal, and they had all the pregame festivities. It was really cool. It injected an extra energy into what is already, you know, pretty interesting experiences if you're going to any, you know, major college football game.
All right. So how did you draw the Austin assignment? There was 4 games, 3 were freezing, and 1 was in Texas. How'd you get the plum assignment of the weekend here?
Well, I came up with some story ideas after I looked at the weather.
See, that is great foresight. You're like, all the best ideas are in Texas, I've heard this weekend. These are the best stories to chase.
100%, and I do not regret my decision because the food was excellent, the vibes were great. I got some Tex-Mex, I got some barbecue, and I didn't even have to pack a winter jacket.
There you go. That's a beautiful thing. It's no bad reason to head down to Austin for stuff like that. And you know, obviously, it's a massive stadium. They draw huge crowds there against anybody in the middle of September, much less the playoff. But you know, you've been to other college games. How did, you know, it being a playoff game on campus, how did you notice that differentiating from just a run-of-the-mill regular season game?
Well, it's funny. I wrote in my dispatch there were like 2 to 3 sort of small giveaways, right? The first was that they had to play the opposing team's hype video. That's a CFP rule. So at Texas, they actually had like a disclaimer, like a warning that they played about, this next video may not be suitable for Longhorns fans. And then they played the Clemson hype video. And, 100,000 people booed, for the entire 30-second duration or whatever it was.
That's funny.
Yeah. And then, an aspect of the sort of like weird post-game experience was members of the Peach Bowl being in attendance to, at the end of the game, formally offer Texas a spot in the Peach Bowl because the New Year's Six Bowls are being used as the quarter and semifinals. So it would be like after the first round or the second round of March Madness, having, the host of the Sweet 16 come into your post-game press conference and like formally invite you to the next round. It was a little bizarre, but like bizarre in like the fun college football way, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, like obviously there was extra intensity. There was more riding on the game, but it really just felt like, just like an extra home game, which isn't a bad thing. That's how it was planned. That's how Texas wanted it to feel. And outside of those, like if you weren't really paying attention, you could have thought it was, just a really big home game.
Yes, and obviously and I'm sure you've dug into the ins and outs of this, like the reason that next round is not at home sites and is at these bowl games, there's the finances and contracts in bowl games. How much, I guess, does it stink that the four teams that are playing next week don't get a home game? That feels like it would be more college football-y, but the bowl games somehow tend to win out with these things.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, I mean, look, at least for the next 2 years, there was an already existing contract with those New Year's Six Bowls to be part of the rotating CFP. So at least until 2026, like, it makes sense they have to honor that. Beyond that, maybe they'll reconsider for, those quarterfinals at the very least. I don't have a ton of insight into that, but what I can say is I did see Boise State's athletic director tweeting, like, can you imagine how fun it would be if we could, like, have a home game on our, Boise State has, like, a blue field.
Mm-hmm.
And I tweeted back at him, and I was like, yeah, but you guys got to buy. So, like, it's like Boise State is so good that they're complaining about not having a home field advantage. And the reason they don't have home field advantage is because they were so good they got a bye in the first round.
Yes, there's a game in front of my face right now on the blue turf. It's less exciting in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl right now. It is tied, but nobody really cares about that one at the moment. And I do wonder, you look at how Notre Dame's obviously set up for this different than anybody else. Like, they were very quick, right, to accept the idea of getting these home games and not getting buys, because obviously there's a lot of money that's got to go along behind that when you're getting another sold-out inventory at your stadium that you weren't planning on at the beginning of the year.
100%, and that's where I would say, like, that economic impact factor comes in, right? I mean, I spoke to, like, the Austin Sports Commission, and they said it was definitely, the occupancy rate of hotels was up. They were, especially with the game time at 3 p.m. Local, they were hoping people would buy lunch and then they would go out to dinner after the game. But Austin's a major metropolitan area anyway. South Bend, not so much. So to bring in another game, of 100,000 fans, who many of whom would, including the students, would not have been at the campus at that point, the media, all of those folks. I mean, look, I looked at the hotels in South Bend because I was like booking a bunch of hotels in advance, depending on, because I didn't know where I was going to go. And I also didn't know that the CFP had hotel blocks, which they graciously got for all the reporters, but I didn't know that because we'd never done it before.
Right.
Those hotel rooms were going for like $800 a night within 20 miles of the stadium. So the economic impact is just, unmatched for a place like South Bend.
Yes, there are not. It's not a high volume of lodging available in the South Bend area. Having been there a time or two, there's not a lot going on there besides the college football Saturdays. As we got Amanda Kristovich with us from Front Office Sports. So I saw your article this morning on the Pac-12, and I'm like, well, Syracuse is playing Washington State here on Friday. Take us through where this is at of essentially, Oregon State and Washington State being cast aside and now trying to, revive their place here in the college sporting world.
at the beginning of this past football season, Oregon State and Washington State were getting by with like a football scheduling partnership with the Mountain West, where they were sort of like integrated into the Mountain West conference football schedule. And that's kind of like how their football programs put their season together. That, in the middle of that contract, or really right at the beginning of it, because this was in September, I woke up one morning to, news overnight on the West Coast that there were rumors that the Pac-12 was poaching 4 of the Mountain West schools. Mm-hmm. And obviously, as we know, that ended up happening. It set off this chain of events where the Mountain West tried to sign a retention agreement. Then they lost another school. And then both of the leagues kind of like grabbed a couple extra schools along the way. There's now a lawsuit because embedded in this football contract is a poaching fee because the Mountain West saw this coming. So technically, the Pac-12 owes the Mountain West $55 million for taking 5 of their schools, which is like pretty unprecedented. So that's in litigation right now. But as far as we know, the Pac-12 is going to live to fight another day. And come 2026, Washington State and Oregon State I believe they need one more FBS football playing member. Mm-hmm. But as long as they do that, which I've been told they're going to look for after they sign a media rights agreement, they're in play for like the next 7 or 8 years, that next sort of TV window or media rights era of college sports.
Do you sense that this will be like a sought out media rights package? Obviously, it's not going to be anywhere near the Big Four conferences dollar-wise, but like based on everyone involved, is this going to be sought out where now there's all these other places, streaming services getting involved? Could it be unique? What's your expectation for what happens here?
I mean, I'm not sure that it's going to be, there's going to be networks lining up, banging down the Pac-12's door. But think about it this way. The Mountain West currently has, they just this past year signed a deal to broadcast some of their football games on TNT.
Right.
And those, the main draw of those programs are going to be going to the Pac-12. So is it going to be as valuable as the Pac-12 of yore? No. Is it going to be as valuable as the now Power 4 conferences? No. But I think that, linear networks need West Coast windows for football. They need that Pac-12 after dark. Like when you're at the bar in the fall and like things start to get weird. That's like when Pac-12 After Dark comes on, that's usually like the time when I'm at the bar. I'm like, okay, how many more drinks do I really want to have before I like take myself home, right? We need more of that. We need those late windows on the West Coast. And a lot of the Pac-12 schools are still going to be in that like West Coast mountain time zone, which is, even if it's not the most sought after football product, it's better than reruns of Law and Order or whatever. I mean, no knock on Law and Order, we all love it, but you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that they are going to have a decent chance of getting somewhere between 5 and 10 million a year per school, maybe. That's like around what the Big East makes. It's around what the AAC made. So, I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see. You feel bad for Washington State and Oregon State. Obviously, they're the two teams that have certainly fallen down the financial ladder with all of this, but it's just kind of the way of the world right now. You have any sense? You said as we wrap up here, Amanda, obviously they need another team. I know Sacramento State's raising a bunch of money to try to get in it. Do you have any idea what school might be in the mix? Because we've heard a lot of schools that are out and a lot of weird battles with the Mountain West, but do you have any guess who might get to join this league?
Well, what I will say is I think at this point, school number 8 for the 8th FBS football playing member cannot be an FCS program because an FCS program would need 2 years to transition to the FBS, and they need that 8th member by 2026, like the beginning of the 2026 school year. So they need to find an existing FBS program. Beyond that, they've said they're interested in potentially expanding beyond that. So beyond that, they could look to an FCS program. But 100%, program number 8, football program number 8, needs to be already in the FBS.
Okay, and I think I saw in your article they've copyrighted Pac-9, Pac-10, Pac-11, Pac-13, and Pac-14 to go along with Pac-12. So clearly they're keeping their options open here going forward.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Or if we want to take a trip down memory lane, remember when it was the Pac-10? Sometimes, my family members from the West Coast still call it that. So.
Yeah, exactly. I just finally adjusted to the Pac-12 and we got to start all over again. Crazy times in college sports, Amanda. Crazy times. All right, thanks as always for hopping on. Happy holidays to you. Happy Hanukkah, and I'm sure we'll talk again next year at some point.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you, too.
There she is, Amanda Kristovich from Front Office Sports. With that, we will take a break. Come back, get Mike in here, a little 411 after this on a Monday here on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Radio. No, Big Papi. Here's our schedule for the rest of the week. Nothing the next 3 days. What I didn't add to that graphic, what I should add to the graphic, I will verbally add it to the graphic right now. Jordan, we know Jordan, who's been playing NCAA football at Syracuse all season long. He's going to play his bowl game, I think at like 12:30 on Friday. Oh, I've got an array. 03 champs. We got sweaters out the yin yang. We're ready to go for the holiday season.
Brian does have sweaters. That is a thing.
And it has been cold in the office today. People have been telling me.
It has been give or take. It feels like one moment I'm freezing and one moment I'm sweating.
But I feel a lot of people have told me specifically that the office has been cold today.
It has.
But I have been wearing this sweater, which is very warm, and I've been cozy all day long.
Really?
Yeah.
I recently got a sweater like that, but it's a little too big. And I don't know if it looks too big when I'm wearing it, or if it's like, hey, that's a baggy sweater.
I don't know. You don't know what vibes it's giving
You know
off?
what I mean? Like sometimes there's baggy, and then sometimes it's like, dude, you shouldn't
It's
be
a
wearing
holiday
that.
sweater or Christmas sweater?
Yeah.
Or a winter sweater?
It's more of like a winter. It's
All
blue.
right.
It's like a light blue, and then it's got white mountain range.
Well, mountain range, yeah. You're a bit late, Super Cat. Well, you're gonna have to wear it in one time, and then we'll judge you severely. Yeah,
that's fair.
Or maybe compliment you.
There's only one way to live, and that's in the present.
And with severe judgment. Yeah, it's very possible somebody just bumped the thermostat and then nobody went and turned it back off. You never know it here. One day, if like a month ago, somebody had bumped it the other way for some reason, it was just like
it was incredibly
cooking in here,
hot.
and people were like, "Oh, it's set on 80." Like, why was it set on 80?
That was the only time I ever felt like the need to change the dial, because I'm too low to be changing dials here for temperature.
But yes,
we were the only ones here, and it was like 80.
Yeah, it's like what is going on? But yeah, today people have been walking around freezing, and I'm like, I feel quite comfortable
I was very cold
in this big thick sweater I'm wearing.
I was hot with the jacket, then I took the jacket off, then I got incredibly cold like an hour later for a long time. I put the jacket back on, and I feel great.
Mm-hmm.
It's better in here than it is out there, that's for sure.
Which is usually the opposite.
Yes.
So I don't know what to make of all of this.
I don't know what's real anymore.
Other than clearly this sweater and the current office temperature, maybe I said it.
Maybe.
So I was told it literally, I was in the building for 4 seconds this morning. It's cold. I'm like, well, I just walked in from outside where it's like 9 degrees.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed it being cold in here.
It was so cold.
I've been inside for 8 seconds.
It was so cold yesterday that when I walked outside in my car today, I was like, oh, it's kind of warm. And then I realized it was like 18.
Yeah.
I was like, that's how cold it was yesterday. I was miserable.
Do we email tickets to our winner?
Yes.
He's excited. I need to email him back here in a second.
He should have them. If he doesn't, he should contact us.
I'm going to send that. Oh, God.
NIU, bringing it back.
Fresno State just missed like a 25-yard field goal to win the game.
That's a tough look.
It was bad. Need to reply to this email.
Dynamite, TNT. Does that sound like him?
What?
You were mesmerized. I can never figure out where I want this mic to be.
Hopefully in front of you.
Because right here it's too high. But then if I move it any lower, I feel like it's like in my lap. Game over! Fresno State, the newest member of the Pac-12. What's a bowl game?
I don't think it's over.
Oh, it's not first score?
I need to teach you the college football.
Oh, yeah. I need to still learn a lot about college football. I was talking to Paulie about it today. I was like, what's the next round? I was like, I'm the last person you should ask.
Oh, my God.
All across CNY, it's the 315. Here's Brian Higgins.
We're just vibing. Schroeder, Lucy, Snoopy, Charlie Brown, Peanuts, Pigpen, Linus, I'm just saying, his blanket, rerun. Yeah, what a cartoon. It's fantastic. As we mosey along here in this hour, brought to you by our friends at TVOffers.com, powered by Drivers Village in Syracuse. In Cicero. It's not in Syracuse. I've been distracted by Schroeder just banging on them keys. It's in Cicero. Go there, buy a car, do all that great stuff.
Here's the 411.
Hello, and welcome to Movie Phone. Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
In the 315.
So you're going to be doing that all week, right?
Nah.
Yeah, Mike, what's going on? What do we got?
Well, this weekend, a lot. All the sports.
It all happened?
All of it. There was college football, playoffs, NFL football, basketball, both of them college and NBA, and then the PNC championship was going on. And very exciting, honestly. If you're a golf fan, you would very much enjoy this past weekend. A lot of good golf being played.
I saw one shot.
And it was probably the most exciting of the weekend, I'd imagine. It was Charlie Wood's hole-in-one.
Oh, no, I saw a different. No, that was the shot I saw. I saw that shot. It made its rounds of the social media. Oh, Charlie Woods hitting his first career hole-in-one playing with Dad.
Yeah, that was probably one of the most exciting parts of it. It was also a very wholesome moment as we talked during the break. Tiger was not paying attention during it. He was on the way back from the restroom.
He was coming back from the bathroom while Charlie was like in his backswing or something.
And Charlie had no idea he even made it. I mean, after he hit it, he looks back. He's like, "Did it go in?" Is everyone celebrating?
Like, I'm unfamiliar with this.
But that was probably the best moment, I would say, of the weekend. But Team Woods did end up losing in a sudden death hole to Team Langer. It was really very fun to watch Sunday because Team Langer and Team Woods were neck and neck the entire way within one. I think the biggest lead was, at one point Langer had two, but I don't remember specifically.
Bernard's got to be in like his mid-60s by now. He was dominating the Champions Tour for years and years.
Did he always look as much like Clint Eastwood as he does now?
Bernard Langer?
Because his face is
he's got a German Eastwood effect to him.
I saw him, I was like, that's Clint Eastwood in a much smaller body. At least I don't know how tall Clint Eastwood is. I imagine he's
I'm going to guess based on the size of actors that Bernard Langer is. I'm going to bet if they went back to back that Bernard Langer is bigger than.
Can
Clint
we look it up?
Can we look it up? What do you think I'm doing right now? Bernard's 67 years old right now. Good. Bernard Langer
and
height.
Beating the GOAT. I mean, that's
okay.
impressive.
Bernard's shorter than Bernard's only 5'9". All right. How tall is Clint Eastwood?
I feel like he's got to be 6'3".
You never know with these actors. They're all tiny. So he might be 5'9", and everybody else might be 5'2".
They're either incredibly short or incredibly tall. If they're an actor.
Eastwood height. Oh, Clint's 6'4".
Oh, I was so close.
Wow. Okay. Well, Clint's both taller, and Bernard is shorter than I thought going into this. But, I would say that Bernard's face bears somewhat of a resemblance to Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I think so, too.
If they were at similar ages, Clint is older than Bernard.
Now he's a PNC champion.
Bernard has looked. I mean, he's looked basically the same age for years. He's in fantastic shape. That German.
Yeah, no pun intended. As the kids say, I am not familiar with his game.
He was good at golf.
Yeah.
Yes, he won many majors.
See,
he's German.
My golf knowledge of anywhere between, I would say, or not between, but before like 2006 is Tiger Woods, Vijay Singh, and Phil Mickelson.
Okay, Bernard, how many majors? He's won the Masters twice. He's got the green jacket. Did he win any other majors? Or as we go into our Bernard longer? No, those are his only 2 majors. Then he just cleaned up. He was so good on the Champions Tour for a while because he was still like in shape and ready. He was the Champions Tour Player of the Year, so 50 and over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. That shouldn't happen because usually like a new 50-year-old shows up. Like, no, he was still killing him when he was 60. That's not what's supposed to happen on the Champions Tour.
Dominate the game for a decade.
Shout out to Bernard Langer.
I really enjoy watching the PNC championships specifically because it's really fun to see the kids, the family members, see how good they are at golf and seeing the camaraderie between whether it's the parent and the child or so, however the relationship goes. I thought the most commendable part of the finish was when Team Langer sank the putt. Charlie and Tiger immediately smiled. Like they were genuinely happy for them after a good fought battle. So it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed watching it.
No word if Bernard went up to Tiger and said, "Go ahead, Woods, make my day."
So this weekend, I would say the best trick play of the season occurred with the Lions. I don't know if you were able to watch it.
Is that when he faked them? The Vikings screwed up the play from last week or whatever it was.
What'd you say?
Well, didn't I see one where like they ran a play or against the Bears? Like the Vikings, was it the Vikings who played them last week?
You mean like this weekend?
Yeah, or like they had like a bobbled snap.
Yeah,
or something?
yeah, that was the Lions. Yeah, so it's a funny story because before the game, or this throughout the week, I should say, they asked Goff if he think he could intentionally fumble it as part of a trick play, and he was like, absolutely not.
And then they did it.
Well, he said they got off the topic of him actually fumbling it immediately because he's like, there's no chance. But yeah, then they did it. He pretended like he fumbled the ball.
Or was it Jordan? Was it the Packers last week who did it or the Vikings?
I don't know last week, but I just know this week.
No, there was like literally the reason they were doing it. I think it was the Packers or the Vikings. I think it was the Packers. Like the same thing happened by accident. So they're like, we're going to do it.
We're just going to do it for real.
Wow, that's showing off.
I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs sold it so well. He dove as hard as he could into the ground, and then he just and it worked. I mean, the secondaries fell for it. A lot of the linebackers fell for it, and Laporta was wide open.
The fact that he intentionally fake fumbled the ball up to himself is just not, like Jordan Love tripped and did it by accident.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun play. I love trick plays. Me and my friends always have debates over trick plays. It's a great time. I do have one question before we get out of here. With the current, our Orange Nation hosts, myself, we have ties to the AFC leadership right now. With the current space of the AFC and how the records are coming out with 2 games left, who do you think right now is commanding the AFC? I can run through their records if you want to.
I mean, the Chiefs are going to be the 1 seed.
I mean, from ability-wise.
Who's the best team right now? The Bills, I'd say, had been playing the best. They looked a little wonky, but it was a division game against the Patriots. They did win. You're trying to get me to say the Steelers.
I'm not.
But they got...
If the Steelers stayed healthy throughout the year,
the answer is the Chiefs. The answer is the Chiefs because
really,
not that they're playing the best, but they just show up in the playoffs and do some voodoo
so
on you.
Give them the benefit of the doubt.
Which
is fair.
Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and they have their defense is legit.
Yes.
Like they are going to get the benefit of the doubt until proven otherwise. The Ravens, I think, have the highest ceiling.
That's who I was going to go with.
I also think they reached their ceiling less than the other teams. The Bills probably have the best combo of ceiling and consistency right now.
I would go at this moment in time. I would go Ravens simply because Lamar's having one of the best years of his career. But I can understand your hesitancy because we have not seen Lamar truly do anything in the playoffs.
No, he's not done that. That said, if he can get an effort into the playoffs that involves what Derrick Henry just did to the Steelers over the weekend, running for $160. Now that's what they haven't had. That's a whole new ball.
Because he's not having to be their runner and passer anymore. He can hand the ball off to debatably the best running back in the league, him and Saquon there. But
Saquon's pretty good.
I think this Ravens team, offensively at the very least, is one of the best Ravens teams I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. The matchups and the order, the operation of the matchups and where they're played is going to be fascinating. It's going to be fascinating. All right, with that, we'll take a break. We'll tell you what's on tap after this. It's Q Sports Talk and ESPN Radio. Yeah, Tiger Champions Tour when he can ride a cart. I hope Tiger plays Champions Tour riding a cart. And the Raiders won. So the Giants have the number 1 pick right now. Whoa. The Giants are hot trash.
A couple of my friends are watching right now and have been lighting my phone up that entire segment.
Leave him alone. Mike is working diligently.
No, the Ravens, this is one of my buddies just texted me. He's a Bills fan. He goes, Bills are better than the Ravens, although the Ravens are sick. I would argue that the reason Josh Allen is going to get MVP is because he is on a terrible offensive team, and he is creating magic. Lamar is a part of debatably the best offense in the league right now.
Add in the fact that Lamar won last year.
And that Lamar won last year.
Like, Lamar's having a better season this year, but he's not going to win.
Which is annoying because he won last year by default because nobody had an incredible year.
So Lamar still is going to have the right number of MVPs.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Like, realistically, I wouldn't even vote Lamar second.
I wouldn't either. I would vote him third.
I mean, it's between. I mean, now if the Eagles had won yesterday after Saquon, like Saquon in the first quarter was like, I'm back in the argument, and then they lost the game.
I would.
Dude had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns in a quarter.
Yeah, well, he had that 70-yard rush, man.
Yeah.
I would argue that Derrick Henry deserves more of an MVP than Lamar does.
I could see that line of thinking.
Because their offense was average last year, and the only difference is Derrick Henry. And now they are debatably the best in the league offensively.
You as well, Tim.
What do you want in the pod?
Oh. Somebody got a lot of good options today.
There was a lot of phone calls today. I think the most phone calls today than I've ever seen you have on a show.
It was a lot of calls.
We had 9 people call for those tickets.
Should we just do a 1, 2, 3?
Sure.
Or do we want Pat? Does the pod need Pat?
Does Pat deserve the pod?
I think a 1, 2. We'll have the same call with Pat again sometime. Well, how about a 1, 2, 3?
All right.
Hurts out for the. Is that how bad that concussion was? For Jalen?
We had a Hurts Donuts in Wichita. It was spelled the same. Really good donuts. No Krispy Kreme. I'm a sucker for Krispy Kreme. I understand they're basic and they only offer like 90% of the time one thing, but it's delicious.
But their one thing is great.
It's like In-N-Out. Okay, In-N-Out.
Like if you're going to do one thing, you got to kill it.
Exactly. In-N-Out's got some of the best milkshakes of like any fast food restaurant I've ever had, and they only offer chocolate and vanilla. But the quality, Brian, the quality of an In-N-Out shake is so good.
Now, Cookout will turn anything into a milkshake when they're also good. It's rare.
Have you ever had Freddy's?
No.
They're steak burgers, and they have like the little like potato fries, like the really thin, like crunchy ones.
Like a shoestring?
Yeah, but then they're like that big.
Okay.
They have those, but their shakes are fantastic because they have like 20-something different kinds of candy that they can put in it, and then they have a ton of flavors. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the Krispy Kreme around here is wild. Like, when did that Krispy Kreme on Erie open? In like 04, 05? Lines down the street, and it was closed within like 5 years. It's crazy. Yeah, the fact that the Cowboys didn't go after Henry is just stupidity, Kev. Yeah, Josh is going to win the MVP. For me, it's between Josh and Saquon. Like, I can make the one I can easily make an argument for over, or that I could make the easiest argument for over Allen is Saquon.
It's the 315. Here's Brian Higgins.
All right. Man, last show of the year. Save for all those shows we're going to do later this week. But last 315 of the year as we head into the holidays.
Here's what's on tap tonight.
Nothing for tomorrow. Monday Night Football is tonight. Check that out here as always. Who's playing? The Saints and the Packers are playing in Green Bay. I don't even know who's currently walking for the Saints right now. Packers are favored by a couple of touchdowns. Tonight, what else is on tap? We'll be back here. Bowl shows on Friday. Jordan's going to be playing the video game at like 12:30ish on Friday as he gets you set up for the bowl game. TK Tailgate at 5 o'clock with Paulie and Mike McAllister. I'll be with you at 6 up till an 8 o'clock kickoff on Friday. I'll be with you post game. I'll be with you Saturday pre and post for the Bucknell basketball game, which tips at 2 o'clock. Besides that, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, one and all. The 315 won't be back until January the 2nd, but we'll be with you all weekend long for Syracuse Sports. Happy holidays, everybody. Talk to you Friday night.
With Cody Mack.
As I